following is a production of Cary TV, the Town of Cary's government access channel.
Hi, welcome to Cary Matters, our monthly program that helps keep you informed of the issues that the Town of Cary is working on. I'm Jennifer Robinson, Council Representative from District A, and joining me today as my co-host is Mr. Ed Yerha, who is one of our at-large representatives. Ed, thank you for being here.
It's my pleasure, Jennifer. You know how much I love the Town of Cary, and I'm happy to talk about it any chance I get.
Well, that is so good to hear. We will enlist you to do this more often then. That's fantastic. Now, Ed, you have been involved in the town's business long before you even joined the council. I mean, you've been involved as a board member, like on our Planning and Zoning Board. You've also been on our member of our preservation community. So you've been really engaged over the years. And it's easy for you and me, who both of us having been involved in the town going back to the 90s, we were just talking about that, to, it's easy for us to forget what most citizens know about what's going on in the town.
Yeah, that sure is the truth, Jennifer. I know we've talked about this before, in fact, just before we went on, but a lot of people don't know how projects come to fruition in the town or how services are delivered. To a lot of people, it's sort of like magic. It just happens.
Yeah. And that's pretty cool. It's actually good. I think it's always good when our government seems seamless, that people don't know what's happening, because then you feel like you're doing their job right. I mean, people sometimes say to me, you're on the town council, what's a town council? That's always kind of surprising. Many people would be surprised at how deliberately and carefully the town is managed. For instance, our staff began working on our upcoming budget roughly 1 year before its implementation.
And not only do we have a carefully constructed budget, but we also have overarching goals that shape the budget. I guess you could say our budget's designed to achieve the objectives that we, the council members, have for the town. And it's called priority-based budgeting. And it's a great approach to helping ensure that we're spending citizens' money on the things that really matter.
Yeah. Okay, so we're considering a $261 million budget for this upcoming fiscal year, and that starts July 1. Before we talk about some of our proposed expenditures and how they support the goals of our town, let's start with some budget basics. Each year, the town manager, Ben Shiver, is tasked with presenting to the council his recommended budget for the upcoming year. The council reviews his proposals, makes any changes we think are necessary, and then we vote to adopt the final budget by June 30th. That's according to state law. Our budget generally has two components, an operating budget and a capital budget. According to the town manager's proposals, our operating budget, the cost of running the town, will need to increase slightly next year by about 4%.
Yep, but our capital budget, the cost of building new infrastructure, that's going to decrease about 51% to about $51 million, according to the town manager's recommendations. And the decrease is largely attributed to finishing up the Western Wake Water Reclamation Facility. That's a mouthful.
That is a mouthful.
That project had a huge appropriation last year, and that's not needed this year. So in regard to the total budget, the Town of Cary really has one of the most financially conservative approaches in all of North Carolina, as evidenced by our AAA bond rating by all three agencies. One clear data point that demonstrates Cary's fiscal conservancy is the number of people that we employ per 1,000 citizens. For that Cary, that number of town employees per 1,000 citizens is 8.2, which is lower than most other governments. And that 8.2 ratio is actually lower than the ratio we had back in 2007.
Yeah. You know, that is really impressive to have numbers that are lower than before we started the recession. That's very impressive. And it's particularly so given that the town manager is recommending adding 25.5 positions to our staff this year. Let's use the addition of employees as an example of how the staff develops our budget to achieve the council's goals. Now, one of our fundamental goals is that we want our town to be a safe place to live and work. The recommended budget this year includes $577,000 to create a new police beat in northwestern Cary, which accounts for 6 of those 25 positions that I just talked about. The budget also proposes $800,000 to acquire land for a future fire station in southwestern Cary.
Those are great examples of how the budget is constructed to achieve our goals. When our town manager presented the budget to us, he listed expenditures by the goal that each addresses. So let's mention a few more of these goals and the expenditures that tie to them. One of our goals is to have reliable, sustainable infrastructure. We hear about this frequently, most recently in our biennial survey, in which citizens listed roads as one of their highest priorities. So in the town manager's proposed 2015 budget, there's $5 million budgeted for the resurfacing of 25 miles of town streets. Of course, infrastructure includes more than just streets. People often don't list quality water as a priority in our surveys because, quite frankly, I think they assume that we have it. But having quality water takes attention, so the recommended budget has $5.3 million for new water and sewer lines and $2.2 million for the rehabilitation of older water and sewer lines. And one more thing, we've begun the expansion of our water treatment plant that we co-own with Apex. That's where we make all that quality water that we all enjoy. And that plant expansion, which is going to take $80 million and about 3 years to complete, is why our utility rates are projected to go up a little bit in this coming year.
Okay, talk about deliberate. Citizens would probably be surprised to learn that our town staff has a 50-year plan. That's 50-year plan for the maintenance of our water and sewer system. It is absolutely incredible that they are looking forward to 2070 in their work plan.
Yeah, I was blown away when I learned that. I only wish I'm still going to be here in 2070. The council's been weighing the value of widening intersections versus leaving the beautifully planted medians in place. Regularly, I hear from citizens who say that they appreciate the attention that the town gives to making our streets attractive. The council's goal of having an attractive, well-planned, and livable community is being addressed in the 2015 budget, with $150,000 for new landscaping for some of our unplanted medians, and an increase of about $134,000 for additional roadside maintenance.
Yeah. Well, we could spend hours talking about the various aspects of our budget, but we don't have that kind of time. But before we go, and we're going to go to a break here in a second, I want to share one more council goal and how it is reflected in the recommended 2015 budget. The council places a high priority on having effective transportation and mobility. This year, the town manager is proposing to budget $600,000 for new sidewalks among several Cary streets. We rank citizen sidewalk requests in order to determine the sidewalk projects to do. Also, in pursuit of better mobility, we are considering extending C-Tran hours from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. We have heard from many C-Tran riders that the extension of hours will help them get home from work. And I think that's really important.
Absolutely.
Okay, so after this break, we're going to talk more about water quality.
That's an important topic that we probably don't talk as much about as we should. So let's also mention some of the development matters that are affecting the town at this time.
That sounds good.
Kids will spend 8 minutes decorating their little brother.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes, twice a day. They have the time.
Hi, thanks for staying with us. Okay, Ed, before we went to a break, you mentioned that water quality is something important that we need to be talking about more often. So let's go ahead and talk about it a little bit more.
Sure. Have you ever gone someplace, I know I have, and you winced when you drink the tap water?
Yeah.
Thank goodness we don't have that problem here in Cary, but I think we take our high quality water simply for granted.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's really hard when you're used to something every day to really appreciate it. Did you know that water quality is a top priority for our town, and it is a top-down matter in the U.S. and the state? So both our country and our state require that towns communicate with their citizens about the quality of their drinking water.
Yeah, I know that, and I look forward to reading every year that annual report that our water folks put out. It tells us all about our town's water source, Jordan Lake. It tells us about the water treatment process, water conservation programs, and other vital water programs. Plus, it gives contact information for all aspects of the town's water services.
Yeah, it's a good snapshot, and that's really important to us, that our citizens get that snapshot about what's in or what's not in our drinking water. Last year, Cary was one of the first, if not the very first in the state, to stop automatically mailing a copy of this report to households. And instead, we're sending folks to our website to read it. That made sense for us, given that 97% of our residents have access to the internet. And that change went really well, so we're going to do it that way again this year. And we're saving about $20,000 doing it this way, which is really good news, especially at a time when we're talking about budget. We would like to save that $20,000 for our citizens. So just like last year, if you would like to view the water quality report, please go to waterreport.townofcary.org. However, any citizen who would like to receive the report through the mail can request a paper copy by calling the town at 919-469-4090. Or you can drop by the finance desk in the main lobby of Town Hall or by the Garmin Operations Center at 400 James Jackson Avenue and pick up a copy.
You know, that's one of the things that I really appreciate about our town, how we try to get people the information they need in the way that makes sense for them. And saving $20,000 isn't a bad bonus.
Yeah.
That's money that we could spend in other ways, like maybe on a fountain.
Yeah. Gosh. Okay, speaking of water, the Town Council has been working with consultants to design our new park in the heart of our downtown core. And this park will include, among many other things, a small amphitheater and a fountain up near Academy Street. And just recently, Ed and I made progress with the rest of the council towards selecting the final design for the fountain.
You know, I really wondered if we would ever be able to narrow down our options to a fountain that maybe would be liked by all of the citizens. And of course, I can't be sure that all the citizens are going to like this. In fact, I probably could be sure they're not. But it looks like the current fountain design is pretty pleasing to most of the council, and that's a trick in and of itself. It'll be a traditional fountain with both cascading water and water sprays. The consultant also has plans to illuminate the fountain at night to give our downtown a little after-dark pizzazz.
And hopefully somebody will be down there after dark to enjoy the pizzazz. It looks like it's shaping up nicely, doesn't it?
It does.
In other news around town, the council is grappling with how much park space is enough park space for some of our newer communities. In recent months, some of us on the council have been pretty unimpressed by the lack of play space in our development applications. And to address this problem, we are asking our staff to review the current ordinances and recommend some ways that we can improve the environment for our future residents.
Yeah, and speaking of future residents, we got to mention one of the biggest problems that the town of Cary is facing right now, and that's simply school capacity. Jennifer, I know you and I, and most of the council for that matter, the entire council, have been very concerned about that issue.
Yeah, we really have. It's probably the most pressing concern for our town at this time. The council members are meeting with Wake County Public School Board members and our Wake County commissioners to talk about capacity and what can be done to ensure that we have enough school seats for both our existing children as well as the children that move here.
Kind of almost feels like 1998 all over
Yeah, it
again,
really
doesn't it?
does, yeah.
Let's hope that we can think outside the box this time and solve the problem.
I hope we can. I hope so. We're certainly trying. Okay, after this break, we'll talk about what's happening in Cary during this month and how you can be involved and included. So stick with us.
Cary's first movie house marquee lights up again. For the first time in decades, the Cary Theater comes alive with films, music, comedy, improv, and theater. Featuring an intimate setting and an extraordinary lineup, the Cary will become a regular on your entertainment docket. Find us on Chatham Street in downtown Cary or on the web at townofcary.org.
Okay, we are back. In this final segment of Cary Matters, we want to talk about what's happening in June and how you can be involved. Well, it is looking at the town calendar, there is a lot going on, and there is no reason to head to the beach or the mountains if you live in the town of Cary, because we have plenty of going on here for entertainment.
We sure do. Just the Coca Booth Amphitheater alone, they have enough to keep you busy. The North Carolina Symphony Summerfest concerts are each Saturday in June, and then you have the movies Under the Stars on Thursday nights. But if you want your movies indoors, you can visit our new theater, the Cary, downtown, because they have movies, something going on every weekend.
Yeah, they really do. Great schedule, great lineup too. Plus, for the baseball enthusiasts, the town is hosting the USA Baseball Tournament of the Stars at Thomas Brooks Park from June 17th through the 22nd.
And the events calendar also includes public meetings, which for you and me mean we have council meetings on Tuesday, June 10th. That's our favorite quasi-judicial meeting. And then we have our regular meetings on Thursdays, June 12th and 26th. We're set to adopt our balanced budget at the June 26th meeting. So if you want to give us some feedback before we take action, please be sure to come to the public hearing at the June 12th meeting. And that's about it for this edition of Cary Matters. We appreciate your watching, and we hope that what we've shared has been of interest. Please let us hear from you, because your time is important, and we want this show to be of value to you as we work to bring you, our citizens, closer to your government.
And remember, help keep Cary litter-free, clean, green, and beautiful by volunteering with our Spruce program. Thanks again for watching, and as always, thanks for choosing to call Cary home.
This has been a production of Cary TV. Visit the Town of Cary's website at townofcary.org.